What I'm about to show you could change what happens the next time you see a frightening number on your blood pressure monitor. Because somewhere in America, right now, a senior is staring at a reading like 178/96, feeling their chest tighten, their hands shake, and their mind race toward the worst possible conclusion. And in that moment, the fear itself may be pushing the number even higher. I'm Dr. Michael Joel, and today I want to show you 3 breathing tricks that can help bring your body back under control fast. Not someday, not after a month. I mean, in the next few minutes. And when I reveal trick number 1, you'll understand why it can be the difference between panic and clarity. Please subscribe to my channel today so you never miss simple, life-saving health guidance designed especially for seniors and families. Now, before we go any further, I need to be crystal clear about something. These breathing tricks are not a substitute for emergency care. If your blood pressure is over 180, over 120, and you have chest pain, shortness of breath, weakness on one side, vision changes, confusion, or trouble speaking, do not sit there trying breathing exercises while hoping it passes. Call 911 immediately. But for the vast majority of scary readings seniors see at home, what we're dealing with is often a stress surge layered on top of the real number. And if we calm the surge, we can often uncover what your blood pressure is actually doing underneath the panic. Let me tell you about Sharon from Columbus, Ohio, because her story explains why this matters so much. Sharon was 72, organized, careful, the kind of woman who kept every medical paper in a labeled folder. One Tuesday morning, after watching a troubling news segment and then rushing to answer a phone call from her daughter, she checked her pressure. The monitor flashed 171/94. Sharon froze. She thought, this is it. Stroke, heart attack, emergency room. She checked it again 30 seconds later. Higher, 176/96. Now her breathing got shallow, her shoulders went up, her heart pounded harder, and the very act of fearing the number started feeding the number. That's the part almost nobody explains. Blood pressure is not just a fixed number sitting quietly inside your body waiting to be discovered. It changes from moment to moment. Stress hormones rise. Blood vessels tighten. Your heart beats harder. Your breathing gets faster and more shallow. And when that happens, your reading can jump even if your baseline blood pressure has not suddenly transformed into a medical disaster. This is why some seniors get trapped in a loop. They see a high reading. They panic. The panic raises the reading. They recheck too fast. It's higher. Now they're terrified. What they need in that moment is not more fear. They need a way to interrupt the body's alarm system. And that is exactly what these breathing tricks do. They don't magically cure hypertension in 60 seconds. Let's be honest about that. But they can lower the stress-driven part of a blood pressure spike by activating the calmer side of your nervous system. They can slow the heart. They can reduce tension in the muscles of the chest and neck. They can help blood vessels relax. Most importantly, they can stop the spiral. And for seniors, that matters enormously because a calmer body makes for a more accurate reading and a safer decision. So let's start with trick number 3, because this one is the easiest, the gentlest, and the best place to begin if you're feeling nervous right now. Trick number 3 is belly breathing with pursed lips. This is the breathing pattern I teach to seniors who say, "Doctor, when I get a high reading, I don't even know where to start." Here's how you do it. Sit in a sturdy chair, put both feet flat on the floor. Rest one hand on your upper chest and the other over your belly, just below your ribs. Now breathe in slowly through your nose for about 4 seconds. But here's the key. The hand on your belly should move more than the hand on your chest. Then exhale slowly through gently pursed lips like you're cooling a spoonful of soup for about 6 seconds. Not forced, not dramatic, just slow and steady. Let me tell you about Walter from Des Moines, Iowa. Walter was 76, a retired postal worker, stubborn in the way many good men are stubborn. He told me, "Doc, I don't do meditation stuff." Fine. I didn't ask him to meditate. I asked him to breathe correctly. Walter had a habit of taking his blood pressure whenever he felt flushed or irritated, especially after balancing bills or arguing with customer service on the phone. His first reading was almost always high. Then he'd pace around the kitchen muttering, "Come back and check again." Still high. So I had him sit down, do belly breathing with pursed lips for 2 minutes, and then repeat the measurement the right way. The change surprised him. Not because it cured his blood pressure forever, but because it lowered the stress wave enough to reveal a much more believable number. His body stopped behaving like it was running from danger. His shoulders came down, his jaw unclenched, his pulse slowed. And suddenly, the second reading made much more sense. That's what this trick is for. It's not magic. It's a reset. It helps seniors who are breathing high in the chest, fast and tight, shift toward deeper breathing driven by the diaphragm. And that matters because shallow breathing is what your body does when it thinks you're in danger. Belly breathing tells your body the danger has passed. Here's why this works so well. When you breathe shallowly from the upper chest, you tend to stay in a keyed up state. Neck muscles tighten. Chest muscles work harder. The nervous system stays alert. But when the diaphragm does more of the work, breathing becomes more efficient and calming. The exhale through pursed lips slows the air leaving your lungs, which helps prevent that rushed, breathless feeling that often comes with panic. Seniors love this method because it gives them something concrete to focus on. One hand, one belly, one slow inhale, one longer exhale. That simplicity is powerful, especially when the monitor just scared you and your brain is no longer thinking clearly. But here's the mistake people make with trick number 3. They try to take giant breaths. Please don't do that. Bigger is not better. If you suck in huge gulps of air, you can get lightheaded, tight in the chest, or even more anxious. I want this to feel smooth, almost boring. Quiet enough that someone sitting across from you shouldn't hear much. If you feel dizzy, shorten the inhale and the exhale a little. Your goal is calm rhythm, not dramatic performance. And give it a fair try. Not one breath, not 2. Do it for at least 10 breathing cycles before you decide whether your body is settling. Most people quit right before the nervous system starts to shift. Now let's move to trick number 2, because this is the one I use when someone tells me, "Doctor, my mind just won't stop racing." This trick is simple, portable, and especially useful when emotional stress is pushing the top number up. And it works because it takes advantage of something fascinating about your body. The exhale, especially when it is longer than the inhale, is where calming really begins. That's right. Most people focus on inhaling. But in blood pressure control, the exhale is often where the magic happens. Trick number 2 is what I call the long exhale rescue. Let me introduce you to Beverly from Phoenix, Arizona. Beverly was 69 and had a routine that sounded harmless. Every afternoon, she'd check the stock market, read 3 alarming headlines, take a phone call from her sister, and then measure her blood pressure. You can already see the problem. One day, after hearing about a neighbor's stroke, she checked her number and got 164 over 88. Then 168 over 90. Beverly wasn't having a stroke. She was having a stress reaction. Her heart was pounding. Her breathing was quick. Her thoughts were jumping. So I taught her the long exhale rescue. And what happened next changed the way she handled every scary reading after that. Here's the method. Sit down. Relax your shoulders. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Then exhale through your mouth or nose for a count of 6. If that feels easy after a few rounds, you can lengthen the exhale to 7 or even 8, but do not force it. No breath holding at the top. No straining. Just in for 4, out for 6. Again, in for 4, out for 6. Keep going for 1 to 3 minutes. If you're very anxious, count out loud softly at first, then internally once the rhythm feels natural. The goal is to make the exhale noticeably longer than the inhale. That longer exhale is the part that helps tap the brakes. Why does that matter? Because a long, slow exhale nudges your body toward what we call the rest and recover state. The heartbeat tends to slow. Muscles stop racing. Blood vessels can relax a little. The sense of urgency starts to fade. And for seniors, that's incredibly important because a lot of frightening home readings happen in moments that are emotionally loaded. Right after bad news, right after pain, right after rushing, right after an argument. When you lengthen the exhale, you are not arguing with your emotions. You are giving your body a physiological signal that it no longer needs to act like a fire alarm. And often the numbers follow. Beverly started using the long exhale rescue before every repeat reading, not after 10 panicked checks. After the first scary number, she'd sit back, do 12 slow rounds, and then measure again correctly. More often than not, the second reading came down enough to tell us the first number had been amplified by stress. That distinction changed everything. Because when you don't know whether the spike is danger or panic, you feel helpless. But when you understand that some of the spike may be your nervous system reacting in real time, you gain a tool. You gain a pause. You gain a chance to respond instead of unravel. Now, a word of caution, because this part matters. Some seniors hear about breathing methods online and start doing extreme holds, forceful, fast breaths, or complicated patterns that make them feel awful. Please don't do that. If you have lung disease, severe anxiety triggered by breath focus, recent abdominal surgery, or you simply feel uncomfortable, you need to go gently. And if any pattern makes you dizzy, stop. The best breathing exercise is the one your body will actually tolerate. For many older adults, the safest approach is not fancy. It's seated, supported, quiet, and slow. That's why I love the first 2 techniques. They're simple enough to use in a real-life moment when you're scared. But now we come to trick number 1. And this is the one I saved for last because it is the most powerful, the most reliable, and the closest thing I know to a reset button for seniors whose blood pressure rises the instant they see the cuff inflate. This is not the fastest trick. It takes about 5 minutes. But if you want the method most likely to lower a stress-driven blood pressure surge and help you get a reading you can actually trust, this is it. Trick number 1 is paced slow breathing at 6 breaths per minute. Let me tell you about Harold from Sarasota, Florida. Harold was 74, a Navy veteran, calm in every part of life except one, blood pressure checks. The monitor made him tense. The moment the cuff started squeezing, his first reading jumped. Every time. He wasn't alone. This happens to seniors constantly, at home and in doctors' offices. Harold would measure once, see 158 over 84, get irritated, measure again too fast, and wind up even higher. So I changed the routine completely. No immediate recheck. No muttering, no pacing, no angry stare at the machine. Instead, I had him do paced slow breathing for 5 full minutes before the second reading. Here's exactly how to do it. Sit with your back supported and your feet flat on the floor. Rest your arm at heart level if you plan to recheck after. Now breathe in through your nose for 5 seconds. Then breathe out for 5 seconds. That's 1 complete breath. You're aiming for 6 breaths in 1 minute, not 10, not 15, 6. If 5 and 5 feels too hard, try 4 in and 6 out. That still works beautifully. What matters is the rhythm. Smooth, unhurried, consistent. Use a clock, a timer, or even a quiet mental count. Then stay with it for 5 minutes. Yes, a full 5. This is where the shift really happens. Why is this one so powerful? Because paced slow breathing gives your cardiovascular system time to settle down instead of just hoping it will. Heart rate often drops. Tension fades. The body stops acting like it has to outrun danger. And for many seniors, that 5-minute window is enough to separate the emotional spike from the underlying blood pressure. That's a big deal. Because the first reading after stress, movement, or worry can be misleading. But after 5 minutes of true slow breathing, followed by a proper repeat check, you are much closer to the truth. Harold discovered that his terrifying first numbers were often not his real resting pressure at all. They were his alarm response. This is also the trick most likely to help you avoid a terrible mistake, and that mistake is reacting to a single scary number without context. I've seen seniors take extra medication they were not told to take. I've seen seniors rush to the emergency room in a panic over a one-time reading that came down significantly after proper rest. And I've seen the opposite too. People dismiss a truly dangerous number because they assume it's just stress. That is why the sequence matters so much. First, pause. Second, breathe. Third, repeat the reading correctly. Then decide based on the full picture, not the first wave of fear. Now listen carefully because this next part could protect you. If your blood pressure is extremely high and stays extremely high after 5 minutes of calm, correct breathing, and a second check, you do not ignore that. And if that high number comes with chest pain, shortness of breath, new weakness, numbness, trouble speaking, severe headache, or vision changes, this is not the moment for another breathing session. This is the moment for emergency care. Breathing tricks are excellent for calming the body. They are not a shield against a stroke or heart attack. So use them wisely, but never use them to delay real help when danger signs are present. Let me give you a practical comparison because many seniors ask, "Doctor, which one should I use first?" Here's the answer. If you're frightened and your breathing feels tight and high in the chest, start with trick number 3, the belly breathing with pursed lips. If your mind is racing and you need to settle quickly, use trick number 2, the long exhale rescue. If you've already had one high reading and want the best chance at a calmer, more accurate repeat, use trick number 1, the 5-minute paced slow breathing method. There's no law that says you can only use one, but in the moment, simplicity wins. Pick one pattern and stay with it. And there's one more thing I want you to understand because this is where so many people get confused. These techniques work best on the part of blood pressure that is being driven upward by stress, rushing, shallow breathing, tension, or anticipation. They are not a permanent fix for chronic hypertension caused by stiff arteries, kidney disease, sleep apnea, excess sodium, weight gain, or medication issues. You still need the fundamentals. You still need accurate measurements. You still need to take your medicines exactly as prescribed unless your doctor changes them. Breathing is a tool, not a replacement for real medical care. A powerful tool, yes, but still one tool. That said, there is a beautiful long-term effect here too. Seniors who practice slow breathing regularly often become less reactive to the act of measurement itself. The cuff stops feeling like a threat. The ritual becomes familiar. The body learns, oh, we do this calmly. And that matters more than people realize. Because blood pressure isn't just about arteries and numbers. It's about habits, rituals, and what your nervous system expects. If every check begins with tension, your readings may keep reflecting that tension. But if every check begins with stillness, supported posture, a bare arm, and 2 or 3 minutes of breathing, your data gets cleaner. And cleaner data leads to safer decisions. There's also a bonus strategy I want to mention, even though it's not one of the instant tricks. Some newer research suggests that breathing against resistance with a handheld device for a few minutes a day may help lower systolic blood pressure over weeks. That's interesting, especially for older adults who want another home-based option. But I need to separate that from today's topic. That's not your emergency calming tool. That's your training tool. What we're talking about today is what to do when you are sitting in your kitchen in Tulsa or Tampa or Indianapolis, staring at a number that just scared the life out of you and you need your body to settle now. So let me give you the home protocol I wish every senior in America followed. If you get a reading that surprises you, don't panic. Don't talk. Don't immediately take the cuff off and slap it back on. Sit still. Put both feet flat on the floor. Make sure your arm is supported at heart level. Loosen your jaw and shoulders. Then choose one of the 3 techniques we discussed. Breathe for at least 1 to 5 minutes depending on the method. After that, recheck. If you routinely run high, keep a written log with the time, the number, and what was happening just before. That little bit of context is gold for your doctor, and please do not miss this. If your blood pressure always looks high at home, that does not automatically mean you need more medication. It may mean your technique is off. You may be measuring too soon, after walking, after coffee, after the news, after an argument, or while you are still emotionally flooded. I've seen seniors in St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and San Diego nearly overtreated because nobody stopped to ask what was happening in the 5 minutes before the measurement. A calmer reading is not about denial. It's about accuracy. And accurate readings protect you from 2 dangers at once, undertreating true hypertension and overtreating a stress spike that was never your baseline. Before we finish, let me tell you about Diane from Nashville, Tennessee, because her story ties everything together. Diane was 71 and living alone after losing her husband. Every time her pressure machine beeped, she felt afraid. The sound itself had become emotional. Her first reading was almost always high. She'd call her son in a panic, then feel embarrassed an hour later when things settled. We changed one thing. Before every single check, she did 2 minutes of belly breathing. If the number was still higher than expected, she added 3 minutes of paced, slow breathing before rechecking. Within 2 weeks, the chaos was gone. Not because her health magically changed, but because her process changed. That is the gift I want to give you today. Not false reassurance. Not a gimmick. Control. A way to respond to a scary number without surrendering your judgment. A way to calm your body long enough to find out what is really happening. Because when you're over 60, peace of mind matters. Clarity matters. Accurate numbers matter. And you deserve all 3. So the next time your monitor gives you a reading that makes your stomach drop, I want you to remember this video. Sit down, slow down, breathe, then decide. That pause, that simple, deliberate pause, may keep you from making the wrong call in a frightened moment. If this helped you, share it with a parent, a spouse, a neighbor, or a friend from church who checks blood pressure at home. And remember the 3 techniques. Number 3, belly breathing with pursed lips. Number 2, the long exhale rescue. Number 1, 5 minutes of pace, slow breathing. Practice them before you need them, so they're there for you when the number suddenly jumps and your mind wants to run away. I'm Dr. Michael Joel. Take good care of yourself, keep your monitor honest by keeping your body calm, and I'll see you in the next video.